All right, let's dive in. Ready to up your negotiation game?
Always ready for that.
Today, we're tackling Negotiation Basics, this book by Armando Oscar Cavanha Filho. It's like your playbook
Yeah.
for navigating, all those tricky negotiation situations, whether it's like, major business deals
Wow.
or just everyday life stuff.
Absolutely. What I find so interesting about this book
Yeah.
is how practical it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't just ground you in theory,
It really doesn't.
It breaks down negotiation into like these concrete steps
Love that.
with real world examples you can actually like use.
It makes it so much easier to grasp,
Yeah.
Because sometimes I read these business books and I'm like,
Totally.
this is great in theory, but like, how do I actually apply this to my life?
Exactly.
And this one just lays it all out there.
Yeah. Like, for example, think about the last time you had to,
Oh, yeah.
negotiate with your kids
Oh, constantly.
over bedtime or screen time or...
That's like a daily negotiation, right?
It is. We're constantly negotiating.
We are.
More than we even realize, I think.
And that's a great point that this book brings up. Like, it's not just about, those big business deals. It's about
It's in it.
all those little everyday interactions.
Aspect of life.
So, okay, one
The
thing
thing that I found really helpful in the book is how it connects those basic needs, like from Maslow's hierarchy.
Oh, yeah. Maslow's hierarchy. That's one of those things I've heard about.
We've all heard of it.
But never really, like, dug into.
Okay, so think about it like a pyramid, right?
Okay.
And at the bottom, you have, like, the most basic human needs.
Okay.
Like food, water, shelter.
The essentials.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And until those needs are met, it's like almost impossible to
Like, it's not anything else.
to focus on anything else. So that's why it's super important to like consider the other person's basic needs too.
Makes sense.
When you're negotiating, like imagine you're trying to work out a contract, right?
Yeah.
With someone.
Yeah.
And they're like really worried about job security.
Oh, yeah.
If you address that need for security first,
Right.
they might be more open to like, negotiating other terms.
Like getting those fundamentals out of the way first.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like trying to negotiate a vacation with someone who's like stressing about paying their rent.
Right.
You've got to address that first.
Take care of those basic needs first.
Okay, so we've got...
So building on that foundation, the book really emphasizes that negotiation, it's not about arguing.
Right.
It's about...
It's not a battle.
Yeah, exchanging value.
Okay, so it's less about like winning and losing and more about finding that kind of like middle ground.
Exactly. That's where your ZOPA comes in.
ZOPA?
And your BTNA.
Okay, those are always the two I get mixed up.
Okay, so ZOPA. Think of it as like the overlap, right?
Okay.
Between what you're willing to accept and what the other person's willing to accept is where a deal can like actually happen.
Right, so it's like that sweet spot where everyone's like...
Everyone's happy.
Kind of okay with it. We can work with this.
Yeah, and then BTNA is your backup plan.
Okay.
It's like what you'll do if you can't reach a deal.
So like if I'm trying to buy a used car, my BTNA might be like...
Exactly.
Walking away.
And finding a different car.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's like...
One of other options. It gives you leverage. Exactly. The stronger your BATNA, like the more confident you'll feel.
That makes sense.
Going into it.
Because you're not like...
You're not desperate.
Yeah. Think about that, that other job offer you had.
Oh, yeah.
Before you accepted this one, remember?
Yeah.
Like knowing you had that offer probably made you feel more confident when you were negotiating your salary.
It totally did. I walked in there like, okay, I got this. I have options. I'm not afraid to walk away.
Yeah, you're not afraid to walk away.
Okay, so ZOPA and BATNA, they're like our power couple.
I like that. They work together.
Yeah, they work together to like,
to help us.
Keep us grounded.
Set realistic goals. And
feel empowered.
Confident.
Okay, so we've got our needs, our values, and our power couple.
Now what?
What's next?
Preparation.
Okay.
This book, really stresses that preparation is key.
Yeah.
Before you even, enter the negotiation.
Right.
You need to analyze all the variables.
Okay, so like what kind of variables are we talking?
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Like what are you willing to give up?
Yeah, concessions.
Concessions, yeah.
Okay.
Like what are those external factors that might influence the negotiation?
Right.
Even, the other person's personality.
Oh, that's a good point.
And their negotiation style.
Yeah, because if they're like super aggressive.
Exactly.
You might need to adjust your approach.
Exactly. It's like, think of it like a chess game.
Okay.
The more moves you can anticipate, the better your chances of success.
Right. So it's all about strategy.
Strategy, yeah.
Okay. So we've done our prep work. We've mapped out our ZOPA and BATNA. We're feeling good. We're feeling powerful.
So then what's next? The book talks about this interesting concept called the log normal concept.
Log normal concept. Okay.
I've not heard of that one.
Okay. So it's all about prioritization instead of trying to tackle everything at once.
You identify the most important items.
Okay.
The book recommends no more than 3.
3, okay.
And you focus on those first.
So it's like narrowing it down.
Yeah. It's a way of streamlining
the
whole process.
Because if you have
think about it.
A million things.
Like your to-do list.
Yeah, your to-do list.
Yeah.
If I have 20 things on there,
it can be overwhelming.
It's so overwhelming. Yeah. So if I just focus on
what are the top 3?
The top 3.
The most important thing.
I can actually get things done.
Exactly. And you start making progress. And then you go to the next 3.
Right. So it's breaking it down.
Breaking it down here.
Okay. So let's say we've got our top 3 priorities. How do we actually
present those?
Yeah. So the book goes into these different argumentation styles, Aristotelian and Rogerian.
Okay. I feel like...
Have you heard... I've heard those terms.
Of those, but you're not...
Really no...
Okay, so Aristotelian argumentation.
Okay.
It's more adversarial.
Right.
It's about presenting your case and refuting the other person's argument.
So it's kind of like a debate.
Yeah, like a debate.
Okay.
Right? Now, Rogerian argumentation.
Okay.
It's more collaborative.
Okay.
So it's about finding
common ground,
yeah.
Working together.
Building understanding.
Yeah.
And then reaching a consensus.
So when would you use one versus the other?
So it depends on the situation. If you're dealing with someone who has a very different viewpoint.
Yeah.
And the stakes are high.
Right.
A more assertive Aristotelian approach might be necessary. Right. But if you're negotiating with a colleague.
Right. Where you need to...
On a project. Yeah. Maintain that relationship.
Yeah, where collaboration is key.
Then Rogerian might be more effective.
So it's not about always
sticking to one. It's about
being
flexible and figuring out what
choosing the right word.
Works best in each
tool for the job
situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've chosen our style. We're ready to go.
Regardless of which style you choose, the book emphasizes clear and concise proposals, Don't overwhelm them with information.
Right.
Give them time to process what you're saying.
Less is more.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that leads us to another key concept from the book.
Hit me with it.
FLOW.
Ooh, FOW.
Yeah.
I love acronyms.
It stands for flexibility, objectiveness, weighted opportunities, and
ethics. Okay.
Break it down for me. So what's really cool about this is it's not just about techniques. It's about cultivating a mindset that leads to more successful and ethical. So it's
outcomes of philosophy for negotiation.
Exactly. So being flexible, it means being willing to adapt to changing circumstances.
Right.
Being objective, it means seeing things from multiple perspectives. Yeah. Weighted opportunities. It refers to analyzing the potential gains and losses of each
decision.
Yeah, each decision. And then of course, ethics should always be
at the forefront.
At the forefront of any negotiation.
Okay, so it's about being adaptable. Understanding the big picture.
Yeah.
Making those calculated decisions.
Regulated decisions.
And operating
integrity.
Exactly. Yeah. And that brings us to another crucial point that the book makes.
Okay.
Closing the deal is not the end.
Yeah, negotiation. What happens after? Yes, exactly. We need to think about
implementation. Yes.
The book.
Because sometimes, you get so focused on getting to that agreement.
Exactly.
Then you're like.
And then what?
Yeah.
How do we make this happen?
So the book highlights the need to define timelines.
Yes.
Responsibilities, even like an organizational model.
Yeah.
Before the deal is finalized.
It was like a coding aspect.
Ensure a smooth implementation. Yeah. For okay.
And avoids
Right.
misunderstandings
down the line.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like taking that agreement.
It's like
and actually turning it into
putting it into action. Yeah. Okay, this is all making so much sense. I'm really excited to hear more about the actual process of closing the deal.
Stay tuned because we'll be diving into all that in part 2.
Okay, I'm ready for it. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into negotiation basics.
All right, part 2.
In the last part, we laid the groundwork. We talked about, understanding our needs, our values.
Right.
Mastering ZOPA and BATNA.
Our power couple.
Our power couple, yes.
Exactly.
I'm ready to get into the actual, making those proposals, sealing the deal.
Let's do it.
Okay. So one thing that really struck me in the book was it talks about, presenting your proposal smoothly, clearly, concisely, aiming for that win-win outcome. But then it says,
but then be quiet.
Be quiet. Let the other party process the information. And that just seems so counterintuitive,
Nice, doesn't it?
I feel, especially for me, I'm
you want to fill a space.
I want to jump in. I want to answer all the questions.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. But, silence can be incredibly powerful. Think about it. Imagine you're on the receiving end of a proposal.
Yeah.
And someone's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
You wouldn't even be able to. Overwhelmed, right.
Yeah.
So giving them that time and space to actually digest the information allows for a more, thoughtful response.
Okay, so it's about encouraging consideration rather than just
a knee-jerk.
Yeah, a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. What about when we're on the receiving end?
Right.
Because I know I have a tendency to want to just jump in and answer.
Answer all the questions.
Yeah, but the book says
don't mirror their pace.
Don't mirror their pace. Take your time.
Yeah.
Don't feel pressured to react immediately.
Take that pause.
How do we resist that urge?
It takes practice.
Okay.
One thing you can do is by pausing, by clarifying, asking thoughtful questions.
Yeah.
You're demonstrating that you're carefully considering what they're saying.
Okay, yeah. So you're not just
reacting.
Yeah, impulsively.
Yeah.
You're actually
you're thinking it through.
Okay.
Have you ever encountered someone using that
oh, absolutely,
rapid fire approach?
Oh yeah. Early in my career, I remember I was negotiating a contract.
Oh wow.
With this very experienced executive.
Okay.
And they just used that tactic. And it was overwhelming at first.
Oh, I bet.
But I learned to kind of slow down the pace.
Okay.
By, politely interjecting with questions.
Oh, that's a good tactic.
Could you clarify that point? Or, can you give me an example?
Yeah, so it's
of how that would work.
Taking back
control
of
the conversation. Yeah, and not letting them just steamroll you.
Exactly.
Okay. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
So,
and the book talks about,
the book also talks about
all these different behaviors.
Yeah, all these different
you might encounter at the table.
Behaviors.
From emotional to confused to
reading the other party's
emotional state.
Almost as important as understanding.
Is so important.
The numbers,
Yeah, because negotiation is,
it's a human interaction.
It's not just
about
the logic of data.
There's a subtext to the conversation.
How do we decipher that subtext?
What do we got to look for?
Those nonverbal cues.
For instance, someone who is genuinely confused.
Yeah.
They might furrow their brow.
Okay.
Tilt their head.
Or even verbalize their confusion. I'm not sure. I understand.
Right.
But someone who's using confusion as a tactic.
Okay.
They might avoid eye contact.
Okay.
Fidget. Or change the subject.
So it's you're a detective trying to figure out what's really going on.
For those subtle hints.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we've kind of assessed...
And then you adjust your approach accordingly. Like, if someone's being, like, really emotional,
right,
acknowledging their feelings, suggesting a break
can
be really effective.
Yeah, so it's like...
just to kind of...
diffusing the...
things cool down,
we want a chance to kind of...
create a more conducive environment for, like, a productive...
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So the book also goes into different...
conflict styles.
Yeah, conflict styles. Can you explain those? So it outlines 5 styles.
Okay.
Avoiding, accommodating, competing, compromising, and collaborating.
Okay, and how did those, like...
So avoiding conflict altogether might seem tempting.
Yeah.
Right? But it often leads to, like, those...
unresolved
issues.
Yeah.
Accommodating the other person's needs can be, like, beneficial in certain situations.
Yeah.
But it's important to make sure...
our needs are met, too.
Are also met.
Yeah.
Okay.
Competing can be effective, like, when you need to make quick decisions.
Right.
But it can, like, damage relationships.
Okay.
Compromising, it involves, like, finding that middle ground.
Yeah.
But it may not always lead to, like...
the best
solution, the most optimal solution. And then collaborating focuses on finding solutions that work for...
everyone.
Yeah, both parties.
So collaboration's like the
holy grail.
The most effective approach.
Especially when you need to.
Especially when building, like...
maintain those...
long-term relationships. Is important. It encourages, like, open communication.
Okay.
Creative problem solving.
Okay. And finding those solutions.
That
everyone's happy with.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sold.
So how do we, like,
how do we...
foster that?
Yeah, foster that.
Collaborative spirit.
The collaboration.
It starts with, like, active listening.
Okay.
Like, really hearing the other partner's perspective.
Right. Even if you don't
agree with it.
Agree with it.
Like, ask clarifying questions.
Okay.
Summarize their points to make sure you understand.
Right. So they can...
and express empathy.
Okay.
For their concerns.
So you're building that.
You're building trust and rapport.
And showing that you're, like, actually...
yeah, that you're genuinely...
invested in finding a solution that works for everyone.
Exactly. It's about shifting that mindset from me versus you to, like, us working together.
We're in this together.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, so the book...
now, the book also mentions
body language.
Body language.
So...
give me some tips. How do we...
body language can provide valuable insights into, like, what the other party is thinking or feeling.
Right.
But it's important to remember, like...
it's not an exact science.
It's not an exact science, right?
Right.
Like, context matters.
Right.
A crossed arm could indicate defensiveness.
Okay.
Or they could just be comfortable,
Right. Or they're cold.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are some, like, more reliable cues?
So eye contact's a big one.
Okay.
Direct eye contact generally suggests, like...
engagement.
Yeah, engagement and interest.
Okay.
While avoiding eye contact can signal, discomfort, disinterest, or even deception.
Okay, so pay attention to the eyes.
Pay attention to the eyes.
Okay. What else?
Posture's another clue.
Okay.
Someone who's, like, leaning forward open might be, like, signaling interest and...
receptiveness.
Okay. But someone who's leaning back, closed off, might be feeling disengaged or, like...
resistant?
Yeah, resistant.
So it's like a whole nonverbal...
it's a nonverbal
dance
that we're doing.
Okay, this is all so fascinating.
Yeah.
So, before we move on, I'm curious, what are some of the, like, common... pitfalls, mistakes that people...
mistakes that people make.
That people make in negotiation.
One of the biggest ones is not being prepared. Preparation.
Ow.
Remember that chess game analogy?
Right.
You wouldn't go into a chess match without, like...
right, without knowing your opponent's...
studying your opponent's moves.
Yeah,
so
we need to know.
You got to come to the table.
Our goals.
Your limits, your options.
Our options are BTNA.
For BTNA, exactly. Another common mistake is focusing too much on our own perspective.
Yeah.
And not really taking the time
to understand
the other party's needs and interests.
So empathy.
Empathy, yeah.
Okay.
Remember, negotiation is about finding those mutually beneficial solutions.
Okay. The book also warns against ploys.
Ploys.
Remind me what those are.
Ploys are like those manipulative tactics designed to gain like an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
They might work in the short term.
Right.
But they like
erode trust
and damage relationships.
Right. So it's like a shortcut.
Like, think about
that leads to a dead end.
The good cop, bad cop routine, or like making like those extreme demands.
Right.
Or feigning.
Yeah, pretending you don't care.
Yeah. To pressure the other person.
Okay, so ploys are bad. Yeah. Have you ever, in closing the deal, like when do we know?
That's a great question.
It's time.
That's a great question. And that is what we will be tackling in the final part.
Okay, I can't wait.
Deep dive.
I'm ready. Welcome back, negotiators. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
We have.
From understanding those basic principles to navigating those tricky conversations.
The dynamics.
Yeah. Now, in this final part, I'm ready to learn how to seal the deal, like bring it home. So how do we know?
Yeah, how do we know?
When we've reached that point, when it's time to...
That sweet spot.
Yeah, that sweet spot where we can, finalize the agreement.
So the book emphasizes clarity and confirmation.
Okay.
It reminds us that assumptions and conclusions are two different things.
Okay.
So before we even think about shaking hands, we need to make sure that every detail is
crystal clear.
Crystal clear.
And that all parties are
truly in agreement.
In agreement.
Yeah.
No assumptions, only confirmations.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we ensure that?
Asking the right questions.
Okay.
Summarizing key points.
Okay.
Addressing any lingering.
Right, because sometimes you think you're on the same page, but then there's those little details. Details, yeah.
It's like a final quality check.
Okay.
Before the product ships.
Oh, I like that.
Like a pre-flight checklist for pilots.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we've done all that.
Right.
Everything is
so let's say
crystal clear.
We've reached that point.
Yeah.
Where everything's clear, both parties are happy.
Okay.
How do we seal the deal?
How do we actually
dot the I's.
Yeah, make it effective.
Cross the T's.
Yeah.
So the book recommends, summarizing those key points of the agreement.
Yeah.
Confirming that everyone's on the same page.
On the same page.
And making sure that no negotiated points are left open.
Yeah.
For future debate.
So it's really creating that sense of closure.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got this.
Yeah, we did it.
We're moving forward. Okay. Now, the book also talks about, what happens after the agreement's signed. The implementation.
The implementation phase.
I feel like that's sometimes
it's often overlooked.
Yeah.
But it's so crucial.
Forgotten.
Yeah.
So the book provides this post-negotiation
checklist,
to ensure that
a smooth and
everything goes smoothly. Okay, can you walk me through that?
Sure.
What are some of the key things we need to think about?
So first and foremost, we need to clearly define timelines.
Okay.
Responsibilities. Who's doing what by when.
Right. No confusion about roles, deadlines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we need to establish a communication plan.
Okay.
How will we
keep
each other updated on progress?
Informed.
Address any challenges that
come up.
Okay,
so it's proactive
communication, yeah. And the book even suggests creating an organizational model to manage the implementation. So this could be assigning a project manager.
Okay.
Establishing those regular
check-ins?
Yeah, check-in meetings.
Yeah.
Or even creating a shared document.
Okay.
To track progress.
So it's almost like you're treating the implementation phase as its own...
A mini project.
Yeah, a mini project.
Yeah.
Okay, so it needs just as much...
It requires planning, organization...
It's the negotiation. It's
the communication.
Okay. This is all making a lot of sense. I feel like I'm seeing negotiation...
in a whole new light.
Good.
But before we wrap up, I'm curious to hear kind of your personal reflections on this journey through... negotiation basics. What are some of the key takeaways that have, really resonated
with me?
With you?
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest takeaways is that negotiation is a skill, not a talent.
Okay, so it's not about being born.
Well, it's not like you're just
a smooth technique.
Born with it.
Yeah.
It's something you can learn.
You can learn it.
You can learn it.
And improve.
And improve upon it.
Okay.
With practice and the right tools.
Okay. I like
I love how the book, emphasizes ethical conduct.
Right. It's not about...
It
reminds us that...
at all costs.
It's not about manipulation or winning at all costs. It's about building trust.
Yeah.
Finding those,
mutually beneficial
solutions.
Yeah. Solutions, yeah.
And fostering those positive
relationships. Okay, so we can achieve our goal.
And I think that's what makes negotiations so powerful. It's a power
of being, respectful and...
It's a tool for...
having integrity.
Creating positive change.
Yeah.
Resolving conflicts.
I love that.
Building a better world.
Negotiation as a force.
Exactly.
For good.
Exactly.
Okay. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into negotiation basics.
It's been a great journey.
It has been a fantastic journey. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
Guiding us through.
Happy to be here.
And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive as much as we have. Remember, negotiation is an ongoing process. So
it is.
Keep learning, keep practicing.
Yeah.
And you can master this skill.
And unlock a world of possibilities.
So many possibilities.
Okay.
All right, any final thoughts?
As you embark on your negotiation adventures, remember to approach every interaction with confidence, empathy, and a commitment to ethical conduct.
All right, beautifully said.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll sign off, leaving you with this final thought. Negotiation is not about
winning or losing.
It's about creating win-win outcomes
right.
for everyone involved. So go out there and negotiate with confidence.
Make the world a better place.
Make the world a better place.
One agreement at a time.
Until next time, happy negotiating.